And the other woman who was in the room was looking intense and anxious. And I said, "Is everything okay?" And she said, "No." Well, at the Stone Maiden Inn, I am the owner, and I have been the owner for 5 seasons now. And it's a wonderful way to make a living. It's a beautiful place to work and wonderful people to work with. The guests are lovely, and we enjoy having them. The house has been a very well-maintained house, and originally the front footprint of the house was the home for the first lawyer that came to Stratford for the Grand Trunk Railroad. And in April 10th, 2015, I took possession of the inn. I had the excitement of checking in our first guests that day. We had 8 or 9 rooms rented that night, which was wonderful for early April. And as I was waiting anxiously for my first guests, it was about 3 o'clock when 2 women arrived. And they were lovely women from Boston. And I went up to see the ladies who were staying in the room called Barkeel. And they were in a certain state of mind that made me curious, so I asked them if everything was okay. And then one woman was bent over looking at the name on the door and oddly said that it was spelled incorrectly. And I informed her that I'd just taken possession of the inn, and it wasn't me that incorrectly spelled Barkeel, but what was it? And she explained to me that it was supposed to be spelled B-A-R-K-I-E-L. And I said, "Well, that's lovely." And she said, "Well, you know, Barkeel is the archangel of abundance." And I said, "Oh, these are archangels?" And she said, "Yes." And she proceeded to tell me what all the rest of the room names on that floor actually meant. And there's a room beside it called Anil, which is the archangel of love, and a room called Gazardeel, which is the archangel of your spirit, soul, and then there's Harahel, that is the archangel of knowledge. Okay, and the other woman who was in the room was looking intense and anxious. And I said, "Is everything okay?" And she said, "No." And keep in mind, these are the first guests that have ever walked through my door, and the first guests that I ever have a problem. And I'm thinking, well, what's exactly the problem? She said, "Well, it's bad energy." And to which I laughed to myself. And she said, "Yeah, and there's more than one of them in here, and they're not happy." I was about to leave the room, and the women stopped me and said, "Would you like me to get them out for you?" So, to me, this was gold. I'm thinking, this is the first guest I've ever had. This hilarious stuff goes on, and now they're going to get the ghosts out of my hotel. So I'm running to the room, and the woman is still there. And rather than react, she goes, "All clear, all clear." We got them. There was 4 of them. And they were unhappy with the change, and we explained that the new owner was going to be wonderful, and that they should be happy, and they should move on to where they need to move on to. Now, normally that would be the end of the story. However, it's the first night we had the inn, so my wife and I were wandering around having a glass of wine, just kind of absorbing the ambiance of the hotel and what we got ourselves into. And the 2 ladies that had helped us out were actually sitting in the front portico, which is a non-insulated front veranda, and it was April 10th, and odd that they would be out there. So we chatted with them and asked them, what they've been doing, what they're up to, and they said, "Well, we've been taking pictures of your inn, and there's orbs around your inn now." And they had cameras that were specially designed to be able to detect these things. I suppose it looked like there was water on the lens, but as they went through the pictures, the water on the lens was somewhat moving. So again, we give credence to them for their ingenuity, and they then explained that orbs are angels, and that now my inn went from having bad energy in a room, ghosts, to within 5 or 6 hours to be clean of ghosts and now be surrounded by angels. Now, was I supposed to be doing this? I think so. It must be my calling.